What's up, y'all? It's your girl Gwen, and I'm back with another video. What's up, y'all? Look, Caylani, look. It's your girl Caylani, and I'm back with another video. You making a video with me? What you doing? You gotta say hello to the people. Think about it. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys my labor and delivery story. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying, I don't know if you guys watched my inducing labor video. In my inducing labor video, I started off by walking, then I went and I came back home after walking around the block with my sister, and I ate a few different hot things. Then I started bouncing on a ball. It seemed to me like none of that had worked, so I think the next day I drank some castor oil, and it took it was like less than 24 hours for me to start contracting. Waited a while. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. When you're in labor, you don't know right away, of course. You try to like ignore it and think, maybe it's something else. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm not 100% sure I'm in labor, and with COVID going on, I didn't want to just run to the hospital until I was sure. But like throughout the day, it got worse. So I literally didn't make it to the hospital until like 11 o'clock at night. When I drank the castor oil, I think I drunk like a tablespoon or whatever. I can't really remember how much I drank, but it worked because I went to the bathroom one time after I drank it, and then I think I went again. I can't really remember 100% because it's been like 5 months since then, but it sent me to the bathroom, but it didn't send me to the bathroom a lot like it does to a lot of other people. Okay, so it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I decided that it was time for me to go to the hospital. Me and Kavan gathered our things. We already had our hospital bags packed, but we was making sure we had everything we needed. Made a couple stops, and then we went to the hospital. I was in excruciating pain. I went to the hospital, and we were in the waiting room for like a good 30 minutes just waiting on a room to be available for us. But when they came to us and told us that there was a room available, I was happy until I realized that it wasn't a room that we would have to ourselves. There was 2 other people on the side of us, and we were in the middle, and it was just a curtain. It wasn't a room, it was just a curtain dividing us. We were there for a good while. And they was not giving me no meds. They wasn't trying to give me anything. And I had dilated to like 2-3 centimeters. I think it was 2. It was 2 or 3 centimeters after a few hours. And they just kept saying they couldn't give me anything. Anyway, I felt like I was kind of like being neglected while I was in there. Because if y'all see me in so much pain, y'all see me throwing up. I started eventually throwing up because the pain was so bad that I was having, and nobody was really trying to do anything about it. Kavan, which is my boyfriend, he was literally the one helping me when I was throwing up and giving me stuff to throw up in and all of that. So, more time went by, and I don't think I dilated anymore, and they still weren't trying to give me anything. I think it was probably about, it came in 11 at night. It was probably about like 3, 4, no, I think it was like 7, 8 in the morning or something like that. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'll just have another C-section. I haven't dilated anymore, and I couldn't take it anymore. I felt like they weren't trying to give me any meds because they wanted me to have another C-section, even though I was supposed to try for a vaginal birth. And me and my doctor agreed on it. Because as soon as I came in, they were like, your C-section, basically they was trying to get me back for a C-section. I was like, no, I'm supposed to be trying for a vaginal, and they had to look it up in the system. So they said, okay, they would set up for me to be able to have a C-section. I was hurt. I ain't gonna lie, I was hurt because I really didn't want to have another one. But I really didn't want to have another C-section, but I wanted her out. I couldn't take it anymore. All right, so here it is, 2 o'clock. No, it was like 1, pretty sure it was 1 something. And they finally took me back for my C-section. When I went to the back of the room, Caylani, really? When I went to the back of the room, they gave me the spinal. The lady literally stuck me in my back like 12 times. Like, I'm not even joking. She could not stick it in right to save her life. And then they got another woman to come and give me my spinal, and she stuck it in right the first time. They wanted me to straighten my back out. I'm like, how am I supposed to sit up and straighten my back out if I'm in so much pain? Like, I could barely even sit still. Well, I was sitting still, but I couldn't sit in the position that they wanted me to because they wanted me to lift my shoulders up and hunch over. And that was pretty much impossible at that moment. So they did that. I think right before that, they gave me like the little drink that you drink so that you won't vomit. But every time they give me that when I have a C-section, I throw up. So I threw up. They stuck the spinal in. I laid down. Well, they laid me down. And I started throwing up. I immediately started throwing up. And I had got like this real bad pain. Excuse my nails, I gotta go get a filling or whatever. But I had got like this real bad pain in my head. Like, I can't even call it a headache. It felt like somebody stabbed me in my head or something, and it just wouldn't go away. And it was like a pulse, like my head was like pulsating, and it was because my blood pressure had got super high and I didn't even know. I didn't know that my blood pressure was getting high. The lady just told me, and she was just as calm, talking about, well, your head is hurting because your blood pressure is high. And I'm like, okay. Not okay, because I couldn't really think straight or anything at that moment. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, are you going to do something about it? So she stuck something into my IV, and I'm guessing that helped, and my head stopped hurting as bad. Boo, you listening to me? Don't shoot on your fingers. Don't you? Don't you? I believe they started cutting me open, and I asked them if they was gonna go get Kavan, and they went and got him and let him in the room. It seemed like it was forever to me. Like, it seemed like it was taking them forever to get Caylani out. I heard them like saying things to each other, like they was kind of like struggling to get her out. And it was because she was like kind of under stress. And I'm like, if she was under stress, how didn't y'all know she was under stress when I was in the back, or before I even got to the back to have my C-section? How would y'all not have, no, eat your feet, boo-boo. How would y'all not have known that my baby was under stress? Did y'all even care to check? Eventually they got Caylani out. I think they had to use the vacuum, or they had to use something extra to be able to get her out. And come to find out, she had ate some of her stool. When she came out, she couldn't really breathe too much, and she was like a purplish greenish color because she couldn't really breathe. And I think it kind of made like her body swollen a little bit. I couldn't even hold her because they had her in like the little incubator thing and had her hooked up to so much. I couldn't hold her. They let me see her do the thing, and then they took her to the nursery. Ooh, Bill, you got stuff all on your face. You going to sleep on me? You tired? She's so sleepy. So they took her to the nursery and finished sewing me up and whatnot, and took her sack out of me that she was in, and I seen it. Who wanted to see that? Why would, the lady came up to me and literally showed me the amniotic sac that she was in. But even though it was bloody, it was kind of cool to see, I guess. After that, I was sitting in that little space for a long time. Caylani was still in the nursery, and like it was kind of making me sad after they sewed me up and took me back to that space, because I'm like, I hear everybody else's baby crying on the side of me, and I don't even have my own baby with me right now. Go ahead, go to sleep, baby. You're so sleepy. I'm like, I don't even have my own baby with me. I didn't even get to hold my baby. I think it was like really, really late at night. I had her at 2:07 p.m. and it was super late at night, like 11 o'clock at night when I went to go see her. I think I went and seen her that night, or it was the next morning, because I was in so much pain that I could barely even do anything. So the hospital experience was annoying because, for one, I felt like I wanted to see my baby. I kept trying to check on her and they weren't giving me enough updates on how she was doing. She started off on, I think it was like 3 things of oxygen or something, and then she ended up eventually going down and getting better, so she didn't need as much oxygen. But when we first went to the nursery, we couldn't even hold her. So like I was happy when I finally was able to hold her. It felt like I had a baby that wasn't even mine because I couldn't really do nothing with her. It was like they was giving me all these rules and regulations for my baby. I do not recommend castor oil at all. I'm not gonna say that that was what put her under stress, but that was what made my contractions as bad as they were. I would not have been in that much pain if I would have just went into labor on my own. Yeah, I wouldn't have been in that much pain if I would have went into labor on my own. So castor oil is definitely not worth it at all. We were in the hospital for the full 3 days. After the second day, they were already trying to send me home, and I was telling them that I wasn't ready. 1, because I was not trying to leave my baby in the hospital, and I'm all the way home in a different city. And 2, because I just felt like I wasn't ready. I wasn't healed enough, and I wasn't ready to come back home and be around my jumping toddlers with the way that I was feeling. I had to go through a whole bunch of bull crap, and my sister called the hospital and complained, and they ended up finally leaving me alone and not trying to force me to go home. A little bit later on in that day, me and my boyfriend decided that we wanted to take a nap because we were just so tired, and we were like, well, we don't know if we're gonna go home tomorrow, and we don't know if Caylani will be going home with us, but we need to catch up on some sleep, and we were bored, so we took us a nap. We get waken up out of our sleep by a nurse telling us that we have to switch rooms because they're doing something with the specific area of rooms we were in or whatever. The new room that we had to go to was mad far. It had to be like a whole mile away from the room that we were in. So we had to pack all of our stuff up just to go in another room, and we were leaving the next day. So I just felt like it was pointless. And it was like 8 o'clock at night. Why are y'all switching our rooms at 8 o'clock at night? And yeah, we went through that crap. We went through having to walk to a nursery that was way at the end of the hallway. Like we had to go past it looked like it was like 50 rooms. I may be being over dramatic, but that's how it was. With us going into the nursery, we couldn't go into the nursery together. We had to go alone. The people who were in the nursery were complaining about Kavan. Like they said that Kavan couldn't stand outside of the nursery while I was in there due to COVID. I believe they said he couldn't even leave the wheelchair out there. Then we had to wash our hands for like 2 minutes. Literally, they had a timer right there. You had to wash your hands for that certain amount of time before you could go back to see your baby. And that was kind of aggravating because I'm like, we in pain. Y'all really want us to stand here and wash our hands for 2 minutes, press down on this thing with our foot to have the water running in order for us to go and see our baby. Like, it was just crazy. But I'm happy that my baby is here. She is healthy. She's good on her breathing now, and yeah, everything is smoother now. I will be making another video on my GCL family channel with Kavan of us. We're going to tell our labor and delivery story together because a lady left a negative comment underneath my labor and delivery video and deleted it real fast, basically saying that he was complaining the whole time like he was the one giving birth. And I'm like, okay, he was complaining the whole time because he was going through everything with me, and he was sitting in a hard wooden chair in the labor and delivery area we was in the curtain, in a small tight little space, right with me. So that was just unnecessary for her to even say. Ain't that right, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You ending the video?
yeah, I'm gonna end it in a little bit. I was just saying that you're gonna be making another video with me on our channel with you explaining your side of the story and what you went through with me. You silly.
Yep.
So
See you later, gang.
yeah, we're gonna be doing that. Caylani is 5 months now, so I really need to give y'all an update on how we've been doing. Look at her little feet. Let me see. Woo. Love my little baby. I'm so grateful for her. The video making her look way bigger, but she's not. Well, nah, she is kind of big. She's getting big, but she's not as big as she looks on camera. And camera doesn't even show how beautiful she really is. But she's so beautiful. And she's so, oh my gosh. I'm not even gonna go into detail about her right now. I'm gonna do that in another video. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned and keep up with my videos. I'm gonna post the link to my labor and delivery video underneath the description on this video so that y'all can go watch that and kind of see some of what we went through in the hospital. I didn't get as much footage as I wanted to because of us being in that small space. Like, he couldn't even get me in pain and all that in the video, so that kind of sucked. But I'm happy that I did get as much footage as I did while we were in the hospital. I hope everybody is staying safe. Thank y'all so much for still supporting me, even though I haven't been as consistent as I should be. Look out for my next video, y'all. Love y'all. Bye. I forgot to tell y'all that Caylani did go with us the third day we were in the hospital and I was able to go home. She went home with us as well. So I was pretty happy about that. I really wasn't trying to leave her in the hospital. So what a blessing it was that she could come home with us.